I feel as if I'm in an iron lung or perhaps like a Nickelodeon family cruise ship. Hi, my name is Chelsea. You can find me at Cowboy Chels on all forms of social media. Hi, special guest. Lately, I've been having a really hard time getting to sleep, so I thought I should make it worse. I'm actually so sleepy. I did not sleep very well last night at all, so I'm really worried about how this video is gonna go. If you haven't been able to tell from the title so far, I'm going to read for 24 hours straight. I just feel like this will be a good time. I'm gonna be picking books based on my fall TBR, which we have a new edition. My best friend sent me a pre-order copy of You Again by Kate Goldbeck. Stunning! I'm very excited to get into it. I think it'll probably be my second read, but I'm also a huge mood reader, and so I'm not really setting any rules for myself besides the fact that it has to be from my fall TBR. I also promised myself back upon a time that I would never apologize for looking like shit, so I will be holding my tongue for the remainder of this video. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. I've had such a fucking good time watching my very small community on here grow and talking to you guys in the comments. I think you're really cool and I'm happy to have you. And if you're new, welcome. I like to talk about books and beauty and lifestyle and anything else that crosses my little mind. We're starting at, it is 6:20 p.m. I felt like it'd be better to kind of do like the evening thing, and that way when we wrap up tomorrow, I will be very, very sleepy. I'm starting with Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. This has been on my TBR for ages, and I've never been that excited for it, so I keep putting it off, but I need to just bite the bullet and do it. My goal is to read 4 books. We'll see. It is very weird to sit down to read and know that I'm gonna finish the book in that sitting. I've only ever felt that with fan fiction. Welcome. We are officially in my chair. Is this a better setup? Is this cuter than where I've been filming before? I don't know. Let's go. Page 2, and we have the cup size of the protagonist's bra. 1 page late, if you ask me. Fucking... They capitalized the word supernatural, and I was like, oh my god, the TV show. I was thrilled. The issue is that this drawing of a man is so ugly. He's just foul looking. We've received provisions. I got sparkling lemon lime and sparkling strawberry guava. I'm getting old. My partner, Bran, has generously offered or agreed when I suggested to sleep in the office on an air mattress, since I'll be taking the rest of the house, which we don't have a living room, so it's just our bedroom.
Are you telling me that we're getting a divorce now?
We're getting a divorce.
That's really sad. We're not doing that, by the way.
It's so sad.
It's not
so
sad 'cause it's not
sad.
happening.
Lily will be with me.
Lily is moving on her own.
The first hour has passed. I'm on page 45. It is passing so slowly. I don't love it. My thing is with romance books, and I hoped that this supernatural element would draw me in, but typically, unfortunately, romance isn't enough of a plot to keep me in a story. I really have to have something else with it. So far, Violet Maxwell is a set of triplets. She was the eldest daughter. She was supposed to take over for her grandmother, who is the supreme witch. Everyone has something going on, and it's all in the public. So there are witches, there are animal shifters, guardian angels, succubuses, succubi. Violet, unfortunately, does not have any of the powers that she is supposed to have. So her middle sister is taking over and marrying this guy who is the alpha shifter from France. That's right, he shifts into a tiger. They're having an engagement party. It's this huge thing because she, Violet's sister, is taking over for the grandmother, and he's an alpha, and it's this huge political thing. Violet is there, and she is used to being judged and watched or whatever as the magicless one among this famous family. Goes to the party, runs into this boyfriend she had 14 years ago, who apparently broke her heart when they were teenagers, whatever, and he is a wolf shifter. Every time he's doing anything, he's like, the wolf inside me. The wolf inside me wants to go on a run. The wolf inside me propped up. Him and Violet run into each other. She's pissed off, doesn't want to see him. He's like, I can't allow myself to break her heart again. My favorite part of the book so far are all of the little puns. She'll be like, what the hex? Hell spells. I'm already sleepy. Let's keep going. There's pie done. Let me go get it. C for cherry. Hour 2. The book is getting better to me. It's weirdly reminiscent of Halloween Town high, especially with like the interspecies politics. Unfortunately, I'm only getting like 40 pages per hour, which is a little bit slower than my typical. So I'm gonna try to speed that up for this next hour. Violet all of a sudden is having these powers that she was supposed to have all along. The Council of Species or whatever, so vampires, guardian angels, etc., etc. They are forcing her to do a witch's bond, giving her 3 months to do so because she's the eldest, even though according to them, she doesn't have powers. She's keeping them a secret. Lincoln, the love interest, who is the wolf boy, and Lincoln Jr., which is what he calls his penis, also being forced to marry. So basically they're going to fake date in order to not be set up with people by the council. So we're at like 2 hours and 40 minutes in. I'm at 85 pages. I really want to speed up my reading time because I want to read more books tonight. Okay. It's 3 hours and 50 minutes in. I had to pause the experience due to I want you to put your finger against the screen so it's kind of like we're holding hands. Horrific tummy issues. Nonetheless, I'm on page 145, so I feel like that's pretty good progress. Not much has changed in regards to the story. Plot-wise, it's just progressed a little bit. But now that I'm like in it, I am enjoying it much more than I did in the first bit. I don't totally care about the romance. It's very, very difficult for me to care. I love romance in books. It's just that it takes me a lot longer to get into a couple, like I'd say probably double this to care, and it has to happen very slowly. So I don't particularly care about Lincoln and Violet getting together, but I do really like the world. I like the few and far moments that they talk about like politics. I like all of the different species. It's cute. Oh my god, wait, I think I forgot to tell you that Lincoln is like the head alpha of all of North America. So every country has a head alpha and they are treated, I would say, like akin to royalty in regards to paparazzi follows him around. And so now that him and Violet are like dating, paparazzi is following her around, and it's making her really self-conscious because they call her last name, oh, Maxwell. Okay, so because they all think that she doesn't have magic, which I kind of would have almost liked it to remain that way instead of this be like the secret power thing. I think that it would have been a really interesting dynamic if she actually didn't have magic and had to like make her place independent from that. Nonetheless, they call her Magicless Maxwell. And so like they'll be like, Alpha Thorn, why are you with Magicless Maxwell? Anyway, see you later. I wish I was asleep. It's 12:43. Finished with Not the Witch She Wed. In the middle, I was like eating it up. And then as we got towards the end, it really was the decom for adults, especially towards the end. Everyone comes together to help the protagonist, and it's just kind of like, I think there should have been less subliminal characters. I'm so fucking tired, I can't. Secondary. So we could have more in-depth relationships with them. In fact, I think that it would have been better, I want to say, even if there was a strained relationship between some of the sisters, because I love the concept of triplets. That's so interesting to me as someone who wishes they had sisters. Because there were so many characters, we don't get to know them past their role in helping Violet meet her ends. Every action that they do is essentially for Violet, which of course makes everyone flat. Oh my god, but they did in fact mention the hit CW TV show Supernatural. Thank God for that. And there's something very specific to this book that always grinds my gears. In fact, I see it a lot in fan fiction, and you can kind of tell after the first chapter. It is this method of telling instead of showing that is specific to character development, telling us memories or facts about another character to show how close they are. They went to high school together, her and Lincoln. Something huge is happening, like magically, and she's focused on that, and he's like, you can do it, and she's like, I'm not sure I can. You're the girl who snuck into fortified high school to save frogs from annihilation by biology student. You can do this. There are so many different character interactions between people that you didn't have to have these stupid little remarks. Guilty much, Thorn? Not guilty. Perceptive. I was reading body language before I could walk, and yours is telling me I should consider sleeping with one eye open. I don't, like, if someone told me that they've been reading body language since before they could walk, I'd be like, that has nothing to do with me or this conversation. Okay, this will be my last one before I move on. They're on like a fake date or whatever. He's like, yeah, today's been like shit. And she's like, oh, you've had a day. And he's like, a day? A day. When the thought of peopling automatically steers you to the nearest liquor store. And then says in regards to her sister, or in Ollie's case, bookstore. They're so small, we're just so repetitive, where characters would bring up stuff that is so irrelevant to the conversation to show character connection. It's just one of those things that should have been cut. The sex scenes were horrific. Every single time they have sex, they're like together spontaneously. No point during this entire story did they have any type whatsoever. Am I getting too specific? Like, I don't know what I can talk about on YouTube. I'm going to leave it at they're unrealistic, likely to be abruptly painful, and silly. Nonetheless, we are one down. It is 1 a.m. Yep, 12:55. Let's keep going. I think it is time for You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This is a debut. If you've watched this channel before, you might be familiar with the fact that I love debuts. I think that they carefully crafted and so much effort goes into them that they're very often like a wonderful story. Hard to top them. This is based off of a Raylo fanfiction that I've read. One more round of applause for this cover. It is just absolutely stunning. I'm so tired. I wish I was in bed. I need to go back to school. I do like updating after the first hour of reading, so I will see you in an hour. Hello, I'm 85 pages in. I know this is gonna come as a surprise, and I'm gonna say it and you're gonna be like, Chelsea, who, you? But I am so fucking tired. I actually was nearly brought to tears because I looked up if there was an Einstein's Bagels in the city that I just moved to, and don't you worry, they've got them. Whatever. This book is so good. Basically, it is a take on When Harry Met Sally, except gender swapped. Although, like I said, I have read the fanfic. Everything is completely different so far. The only similarities are the character dynamics. Kate Goldbeck really does not seem to care if you don't like anything about her characters, which I love. I don't need to like a character. I feel like people get that so wrong. Why am I so passionate about this right now? I don't need to like a character. I need to be willing to stick with a character. And I know they're gonna have character development. When Ari and Josh meet, it is completely dual POV, so you really get to know each of them. Josh is dating Natalie, Ari's roommate, and the girl that she's hooking up with. They have a very heated debate where both of their flaws are kind of shown to you, and even though they are very like at each other's fucking throats, there's a lot of chemistry there. Ari is anti-monogamy. She believes that it is a societal construct built by men to keep control of women. Josh believes that soulmates are real and that you find someone that completes you. Josh is a chef, which is hot. I mean, you've seen The Bear, right? It's very intense. And then Ari is trying to become a comedian. Also, I did not know this when I got the copy. As I started to read it, I realized it's signed. I feel so lucky whenever I get a signed copy of something. Josh and Ari fight, and then it's like 3 years later, they see each other again, they fight. 2 years later, they see each other again. They actually have a beautiful, weird moment together. 3 years later, they fight. Ari's character is just so interesting. She's so anti-monogamy the first couple times that we see her. And then all of a sudden, Josh is still not married, and Ari is married to this like woman who's double her age, professor. They just have this really interesting dynamic, and it's kind of clear that what was once a method to prevent rejection has now become a reliance on being wanted. I'm so fucking smart. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Toodaloo. So Josh's dad owned that deli. It was like quintessential Jewish New York deli, delicious. They have a contentious relationship. he dies. Josh leaves the fancy-ass restaurant that he works at to take over the deli and instead turn it into a fancy-ass restaurant. Of course, he is eaten alive for doing this. Food critics, articles, etc. The restaurant goes down, of course. Josh is #ostracized. His girlfriend dumps him. Ari, we see her again. Her older professor wife left her for yet another young woman. This one even younger than Ari. They're seeing each other again, discussing their breakups. It's cute. It is about 3 a.m. and if I don't eat a salmon and cream cheese bagel in 4 hours at 7 a.m., something inside of me will die, and it'll be me because I'm gonna kill myself. I think that I'm gonna get this neck hammock. You see it's connected to her doorknob or her door, and she just kind of hangs there. Hey, I did take one singular hour's nap. It is now 5:30 a.m. Despite it being the sweatiest nap I've ever experienced in my life, it was rejuvenating. I'm back in the game. If you have qualms with the fact that I took a nap, we must consider the fact that I'm 25, okay? It's 5:30 a.m. I will see you when I'm done with you again. Spoil anything about this book because 1, I do want you to read it. 2, I think that it's going to be very popular. I think these characters are masterfully concocted. I want to put one of them a nice hotel for a week with room service, and I want to put the other one to do manual labor for months on end, like in holes. I'm done with you again. I loved how Goldbeck did not waste any time trying to convince me to like any of the characters. That is often what the first 30% of a book, especially with romance, is. And I think that by letting us sometimes dislike the character, we were let into their growth significantly more. Especially with romance that's geared towards women readers. The guy, a romance between a woman and a man, is supposed to be someone that readers can project onto. Always leaves them feeling so flat. They have no personality. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this book. It just I'm happy that it was really good, but it's also gonna leave a pit in my stomach. The next book that I'm reading is just a cozy, spooky book, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just at the beginning of The Ravenous Dead by Darcy Coates. We also have a guest, as my neighbor's apartment is being gone through for plumbing, and so I went and I know, I'm so sorry. I'm talking about your mom. Her dog, so he can be comfortable and not as scared as he would be with the plumbers, was feeling barfy again, so I took a nap and I'm back in the game. I want to finish this and I want to at least get halfway through a 4th book of the day by the end of this video. It is 12:40. I think I have, let's see here. I paused it during my naps. I have been reading for 15 hours and 13 minutes. I have 9 more hours of reading to go. That's awesome. I'm tired, but I can see the other side. It was much more difficult when I was exhausted at 5 a.m. and feeling sick with it. The Ravenous Dead is the sequel in the Gravekeeper series, a cozy paranormal story about a girl who is 19 or so. She's pretty young. Kira, in the first book, the main character, she wakes up on the like edge of a cemetery. She's like wigging out because she can't remember anything. She doesn't know how she got there, and she's also like beat up. There are some men that are chasing after her. As she is running through the graveyard, she realizes that she can see ghosts, and she has no memories of her life, who she is, anything besides her name and I guess her age. And she certainly doesn't remember being able to see ghosts. She runs into the pastor, I believe. I don't think he's a priest. Runs into a pastor. He's like, you can stay at the groundskeeper's cottage. In the first book, she gets a whiff of a little mystery and helps like solve a ghost's death and help the ghost move on. In this book, she's getting to know the people that she met before a little bit better. I hope that she discovers a little bit more about her identity. I don't really want to like wait until the third book to get to know more about her. So far in this book, she is trying to figure out this like very scary ghost that is missing his face, and he's like trying to rasp through his broken, ripped into throat. She realizes that he is a murder victim, and the murderer is also haunting the area. Because he is a serial killer, he in death has become this like malevolent force that can physically harm her, unlike the other ghosts who can't harm her. So that's about all so far, except that the mean ghost scared her, and so she ran to the like love interest, because there's always a love interest. He was like, here, this will help you feel better, and he gave her a mug of warm milk. That's not making me feel shit besides uncomfortable. And then like she doesn't drink it, and he comes in a few minutes later and he's like, you haven't had any of your drink. Your milk? My partner only had to go in for, I know, everyone's upset. Lily's upset because she doesn't like guests, and then Hurley's upset because I really did go into his house and take him. Poor babies. I'm going to hide some treats in his blanket so he has something to keep him occupied. 12:45, I will see you when I'm like this far in, when I only have a little bit left. I finished a third book. It is 3 p.m. Since I had paused the timer whenever I took those 2 1-hour naps, we have, I don't know, let me think. Ravenous did go a bit more into our main character's backstory, which was good. I liked that. It really was akin to watching an episode of The Ghost Whisperer, in which there is the coziness of the small town and the characters, then like the creepy mysteries, etc. Also, I'm like a little sorry that I'm in my pajamas, but I'm also going to do absolutely nothing to change it. My goal in doing this is I am behind on my reading goal this year, and I obviously wanted to challenge myself. Also, I always see people doing it, and I am nothing if not easily influenced. It seemed cozy, it seemed silly. Mostly every time I like start to read a book, I'm like, oh god, it'd be so cool if I took a nap right now. Like that would be the coziest thing in the world. And yet I must resist. All that being said, when I was younger, like much younger, I would sit down and I would read a book from start to finish, no matter how long it was, only really pausing for like the necessities. I would get in trouble at school for reading under my desk. And as I've gotten older, obviously like adult responsibilities have taken over. I can't do that in the same way. I still do get a little bit hooked when it comes to fan fiction, because something about it being on my phone, I'm not able to process the passing of pages. I, as an adult, would probably read like maybe this much, put a bookmark in, and then come back to it a few days later. Whereas this exercise does make me think that going forward, there might be like a Saturday or an evening in where I like finish my work early. I just read instead of reading for a little bit and then watching a show, scrolling on my phone, etc. With my final book, I'm torn between these two. I don't believe that I can finish The Once and Future Witches in the span of like almost 6.5 hours, 6 to 6.5. It looks like it's a little bit over 500 pages, so it's just really not gonna happen, I don't think. However, this has been on my like TBR for ages. I just keep saving it for fall. And whenever I made my like fall TBR and recommendation video, I was really excited about this. Even though I likely won't finish it, I still am really considering just kind of of diving in. On the other hand, I have consumed 3 stories at the speed of light this evening, and I have been meaning to reread this anthology of scary stories written by Carmen Maria Machado. She's so cool. I follow her online. I just think she's the most neat person. I am kind of considering, you know, just taking it easy and reading this instead, because I know like for a fact that I can finish this in that time span. What do you think?
Read the one you're excited for.
Okay. So close to being done, but it feels so far away. I'm not gonna finish this book. I'm reading so slowly. I do really like the story though. Like, I am happy that I saved it for fall because it's very autumnal. The Once and Future Witches is about 3 sisters who are witches. I think all women in this story are witches, or capable of witching, but it's been snuffed out by like men. This is set during the suffragist movement in America. These sisters kind of get involved in the suffragist movement and invoke this rumble or rumor, an energy about it that brings out people who want to return to a witching power. As you can see, I'm not too far in it. I feel as if I'm in an iron lung, or perhaps like a Nickelodeon family cruise ship, and I'm just telling myself like tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow will be different. I'll go stretch outside or drink more water. I am breaking out in a rash. A second ago, I felt like a sharp little pain in my stomach, and I reached down and I'm like, it's a splinter. I pull it out, it's a feather. I'm so fucking tired. I have done it. I've spent the last 24 hours reading. I took 2 naps. One was an hour, the other was like an hour and 45 minutes, which I didn't want to do, but I was feeling so barfy. Both of those times I've paused the timer. Admittedly, these last 3 hours have been grueling, just absolutely heinous. I've read 1,270 pages for 3.5 books, but one of them was big, okay? And all of them are off of my fall TBR. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you watch this whole thing, it's been very, very cool posting on here and building this like tiny community of like really cool people. As I was finishing up this challenge just in the last few hours, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I know it's like, I don't know, maybe it's silly, but I'm just really happy to be here and having a really good time with you guys. So thank you. If you're not a subscriber already, please join us. It helps a small channel like mine so much. And please like this video.